Mike, have you met with President Schultz yet, or do you guys plan to do that in the next few days?
No, I'll meet him. I know I'll meet with him this week sometime.
Was there any sort of indication that Bill would leave his position and go elsewhere?
No, I was surprised. Heard about it in the morning. I don't know how. 'Cause, see, I don't really look at the media. My wife said she saw something. I don't know if she saw an article or a Twitter or what. I mean, whatever all you guys saw. I mean, she bounces around and looks at that. I'd drive myself crazy if I did that. But so she amuses herself with that, and she told me bright and early in the morning.
And I guess just personally, what did Bill mean to you? He's one of the two ADs who hired you as a head coach.
Oh no, he's the best. He's the best AD. He's the best AD that I've ever even met. And in the course of this business, and some of them, everything from active to retired to dead. Bill's the best AD I've ever even met.
Did you expect to have input into who they hired to replace him?
Yeah, I don't know. I hope so.
Have you had a chance to talk with him in the last day?
No, just text. I mean, he's getting swarmed, I'm sure. And then, I got, and then of course, a bunch of Nebraska media hammering on me, which I don't really have time to do any of that until we get done game planning today. So,
what does this mean for you and the program?
Wish Bill the best, and we just move forward.
I think a lot of Nebraska fans are thinking that down the road you might follow Bill to Nebraska. What can you say about those rumors?
I don't have any plans to do that, and then they already have a head coach there, and he's a pretty good one, Mike Riley. So and then I don't know. I'm sure Bill and Mike know each other too.
What do you say to people that think that President Schultz doesn't have the best relationship with the athletic program that kind of came up yesterday? Is that false?
I've never had any problem whatsoever with President Schultz. I think he's, I've always gotten along great with him. So I haven't seen that.
All right, transitioning to some game stuff now. Have you still grasped what happened on Friday night when you were looking back at the film?
I got it pretty well summed up after the game. I think all that was pretty accurate. We played sorry and we got what we deserved is what it boiled down to.
And how's the psyche of the team right now after that?
I think pretty determined to improve, pretty determined to focus in, the tough thing, you get that, if you've had some success, you get to that midway point, and it happens every year. A bunch of teams get upset. And, it's my hope that we were a little mentally tougher than that, but we aren't, so.
The offensive line toughness has kind of been a theme that you guys as coaches have to find new ways to instill that during practice or do anything different than you've been doing.
We've got to get tougher at the O-line. There's no question. I mean, we've got talented guys. But there's way too many. That situation there is way too casual right now.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know for sure. I think one, it's human nature too. When you engage in basically an organized street fight for 90 plays a game, I think it's tempting to relax. But we can't have it. There's no place for it. There's I think those guys need to rise up and play together. And if they have any illusions that they accomplished something last year, I'd challenge them to name one play from last year that contributes even one iota this year.
Did you and Luke talk at all after the game on the plane ride? Does that not happen?
Oh, we always do. We had a meeting for 2 hours last night.
What was said at that meeting? Was he just?
We went over the film, watched the film. Felt like he, along with everybody else on the team, could have played better. I thought our mentality was, just soft, and we got to play better. We got to go out there and worry about ourselves and worry about what we can do, and not listen to all the garbage in the media, and focus on us. I mean, the thing is, it's too tempting for guys to have some success and, try to enjoy it. Well, you didn't get that success by sitting there enjoying stuff. You got that success by, grinding away and slugging away, and it's hard. And that's just what you got to do. And that's the whole process, and that's what makes it all worthwhile.
You were talking about the psyche of the team, but do you notice just a change generally in motivation with your guys after a loss as opposed to a win?
We've always been pretty motivated. I think we're a pretty motivated team and have been, and which I think that's elevated our level of play fairly quickly around here. And so, yeah, I think they're motivated. I'm confident that they're motivated, and we need to have a great week of practice and continue from there.
How's the team feeling overall after two short weeks in the past 3 weeks? As a coach, have you dealt with that as a schedule?
No, never. I've never dealt with that as a schedule. It's, obviously there's some absurd qualities to the schedule, but, you just play them as they go.
Are they healthy? Like last night, or did you just feel the team was a little tired mentally and physically?
Yeah, maybe, but maybe, but you just get your work done and do it. You can dwell on all the variables you want, but it really doesn't help you move the needle at all.
What are your thoughts on just the scheduling overall within the conference? And that's not to go back to what we talked about last week with early kickoffs or late kickoffs, but there just generally seems like an imbalance necessarily with some teams getting double road games, then having to turn quickly on a Friday night, or some teams playing later than other teams. Is it something that the conference needs to revisit?
Yeah, probably. I think, our schedule is understandably brutal, the double road games and then a Friday game, but there's no question about that. I mean, that's just a fact. And then I've never thought it was wise that our conference plays 9 conference games when other conferences don't, it's like negotiating against yourself. So, but, it is what it is. There's a lot of fine qualities about our conference, but the thing is we should try to be congruent with the other ones, not, go out there. It's kind of like watching George Costanza's dad celebrate Festivus, and then here's feats of strength, so we're scrambling around doing, feats of strength. No, we don't need to do feats of strength. We need to do the same thing everybody else is doing and see if we can't win,
Let's go. Any questions on the phone line for Coach?
Hey, Mike, it's Steph.
Yep.
Where would this program be without Bill Lewis? What do you think his contribution to this program will end up being?
No, I think he's got a huge contribution. It started long before I ever got here when he was captain of the football team for Jim Sweeney. But he's just a great presence, great spirit. The ultimate Coug, and enthusiasm for all things Washington State. Him in particular made it particularly appealing for me to come here because he's the AD everybody wanted to work for, and despite the fact I didn't know him, I was lucky enough to get to. And then, I think he was instrumental in, Elson Floyd a huge part too, but Bill was instrumental in guiding the facilities and stuff that were badly needed here. There's still some things we need, no question, but without Bill, none of it gets done as fast and as efficiently. And the other thing, I always admired Elson for trusting Bill with it and turning him loose.
Do you feel like the program can continue in that direction without him here? In the direction that you're going and you're trying to take it?
Well, it can as long as we don't obstruct it. It can, and I'm counting on that.
Okay, and with regard to your team, what do you think it was that kind of affected Luke last week? It seemed like that was probably the worst game that he's played under you so far.
It's the worst game that everybody's played under me. This game isn't simplified, sitting like, well, Luke played bad, everybody played great. You guys, I'm a little surprised you asked that because you evidently watched a different game than I did. Because Luke didn't sack himself 9 times. And the other thing, Luke didn't give up any of those, those points, as far as marching up and down field. We didn't play good anywhere. And Luke also didn't punt at 1 yard. So we didn't play good anywhere. And after the game, he asked me, something about, I told you nobody played good. And I asked you who you saw that played good. You've had some time to think about it. So who do you think played good?
No, I think you're right. I don't think anyone on the team played well. I was just asking, what do you think it was that Luke was struggling with in particular from his standpoint as a quarterback?
I think he got hit way too much. I think he made some bad reads. I think he got hit way too much. And then I think when a quarterback doesn't get in a rhythm, then he develops some trust issues back there. Most guys don't come out of it at all. He does some, and he does better than most quarterbacks I've had. There's you got to get in a rhythm back there in order, as far as throwing and you go back, set up, throw, and once in a while you'll get sacked, but as consistently as he was getting hit, that's very difficult to do. And and then it wasn't just the O-line. I mean, I thought the backs were atrocious. So, we got to coach them better. We got to coach everybody better.
Other questions on the phone line for Coach Leach?
Hey, Mike, Rich Kuipers with the Omaha World Herald. A quick thought on relationship between AD and football coach. Why did yours and Bill seem to work well?
He's a fantastic guy. The other thing is, and this may surprise you, but in upper administration at colleges, there's a great deal of dishonesty. And I would love to be able to tell you that most of the college administrators that I've dealt with are honest, but that's just not true. Bill's a very honest, straightforward guy. And he was a guy that, you could count on, that you knew had your best interest. And then the other thing is he had a lot of presence to him where he inspired the whole department. And then the other thing is had a vision of, what was going to help elevate and help the program succeed. And so, no matter what, you're up, you and the AD are partners as far as getting things accomplished, and I think he was fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Other questions on the phone line for Coach? Okay, back in the room.
You talked about continuing where the program's at. What are some of the ways where the program's uphill climb would stop? Is it that communication between you and the AD and
I don't understand the question.
you talked about give me a second.
You said the program would continue to go forward unless there were things that would obstruct it. Do you mean outside forces or just like within the team?
Well, I think anytime you have a program, I mean, probably the biggest thing is there's a vision as far as moving forward and how you do that, how aggressively you do it, and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, athletics is we're going to be signed up for athletics no matter what. Washington State's been signed up for a long time, but there's a difference between being signed up and aggressively, pursuing success. And so, that's we got to maintain that course, So
should you go out and pick the candidate, what would be the qualities that you would be in that scenario looking for, somebody that you'd be wanting to work with?
Be honest in all circumstances, and that thing may surprise you, but no, there's a lot of shady guys, and he'd be honest in everything. The other thing, he would have a vision of success, not just participation. Let's elevate and let's be the very best we can be. The other thing, there would be a sense of teamwork and everybody working together pulling all things the same direction. And that's the other thing I thought Bill did a great job of, was uniting the whole athletic department. And then, and also, you know, a vision and understanding of, you know, staying state of the art with everything from facilities to, you know, processes and things that exist in athletics. You know, none of this backseat stuff. If you're competing, you're competing. You know.
When you say shady guys, is that drawing on your experience at Texas Tech, or were there other instances where you?
Oh, there were outright crooks at Texas Tech. Yeah, and I've named names some. I'm not interested in getting into it now, but you're talking about an institution that hasn't paid me for 2009. We won 9 games in 2009. They haven't won 9 since. And yeah, are there crooks there? Yeah. I mean, like felony. They ought to put them in jail.
Outside of Texas Tech,
Well, think about it. You know, think about in the case of Texas Tech. Okay, you've got schools that have actually had murders. You've got schools that have had rapes and sexual assaults. You've got schools that have cheated and fixed grades. You've got schools that have bought players. There's only one school in the nation that's shameful enough to have not paid their head coach. Only one. And that's Texas Tech. Texas Tech stands alone as far as you know, just being sleazy as far as not paying their head coach. And I mean, can you imagine that? And they want to hide behind some little nuance in the law. We're the sovereign. Well, how is your role as a sovereign? How are you operating in your role as a sovereign by not paying a contract that you signed, that you drew up and you signed? Well, so are they crooks? Yeah, they're crooks. And you know, Tech's not the only ones, but you know, someday I mean I can list about 5 crooks around there.
You talked about the facilities and what Bill Moose did to improve those, and said that there could be some more upgrades that could help the program. What specifically would make a difference?
The indoor would be the biggest, not just for football, but for all sports. The indoor facility would be the biggest. I mean, it'd be tremendous for track, soccer, football, even baseball probably. You know, I think pretty much every sport as far as conditioning and off-season, that type of thing. The indoor facility would be the biggest one.
And it sounds like we're on that path towards getting an indoor facility. At least the fundraising has started. Is there an emphasis on either side of this administration that seems like it was coming mainly primarily from Bill, and that was?
You know, I don't know. I haven't checked up on it. You know, I haven't checked up on it. We need it though. You know, we desperately need it.
Let's go back to the phone really quick with Steph.
Hey, Mike. Would it be fair to say that who becomes athletic director here will help you decide whether you stay at WSU for the long-term future?
You know, I mean, I plan to and have from the beginning. I mean, obviously, I want the best possible athletic director. You know, so.
Well, I guess, are you going to sort of like wait to see who they hire to decide your future?
Not really. I mean, you know, we need a great athletic director that's got the qualities and characteristics I mentioned. But no, I'm going to focus on beating Colorado's for the short run. You know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How does Colorado look under first-year defensive coordinator?
You know, they're pretty good. They fly around. They're aggressive. You know, big, strong, aggressive guys that you know, bat everything around they see. So you know, we got to stay away from them. We've got to either knock them down, run around them, or throw over the top of them. So.
And just going back to the Moose stuff, have you had to talk to the players about this? I mean, what is the reactions for players? I know it's a big deal when a coach leaves, but what's the reactions after an athletic director leaves?
I think everybody has a lot of respect for Bill. I haven't had a player meeting on the subject. You know, they all know, and a bunch of them knew quicker than I did. You know.
Does that affect them as much as a coach would, or?
I don't think it affects them as much as a coach, but I do think they have a lot of admiration for Bill.
Do you see it hard for your team bouncing back from a loss and from kind of this new, with Moose leaving, kind of finding a new identity and trying to bounce back?
I don't think it'll affect that very much. You know, we just got to worry about ourselves and be the best team we can be. Just focus on ourselves. I don't think they'll dwell on that a whole lot.
Do you see the loss motivating them in this coming week?
It should. It should. I mean, I know as coaches we're going to do everything we can to motivate them.
Do you think it's fair to say that when an AD leaves or the situation just comes up, that fans and people around the program do get nervous and think, well, shoot, is our head coach going to follow them wherever they go? Or do you speak to any of that uncertainty right now that's out there with people concerned about you in particular?
I don't know. I mean, I don't have anything to say. I mean, what do you say? I mean, I'm focused on beating Colorado and, you know, off we go. So, I mean, people move around in athletics and, you know, I was surprised. And, you know, I was probably as close as anybody to the deal, and I was as surprised as anybody. And, you know, but you just go on and do your thing. I mean, what else you do? I mean, and, you know, people move around all the time. So,
Do you take it as is it flattering to a degree to see so many people really concerned about this and worried that, hey, we might lose head coach Mike Leach?
yeah, you know, I don't really read the news. I mean, you know, I successfully read the news to the point I was one of the last to know that Bill left. So you can imagine how good I am at that part of it.
During your time working with President Schultz, what are some of the qualities that you like about him and that he does well with?
You know, seems like an organized guy. You know, he's kind of been in and out of town, so I haven't logged the time with him that I'd like. But you know, he just seems like an organized guy, and you know, just committed to Washington State.
Anything else for Coach?
You said there were some Nebraska people online that you would deal with later after practice. What was the sense of what they were telling you, or what were you seeing from them on Twitter?
What was that again?
You mentioned earlier that there were some Nebraska fans online that you had noticed that you would deal with after you got done watching film tonight.
Oh, yeah, the radio guys. Well, there's one show that in Nebraska that I've done for like probably, I don't know, 8 years or something. And it's, you know, good show. And basically, we don't even talk about football on it, but I've done it for a long time. And I mean, I'm game planning tonight, so tonight's real busy. So Tuesday and Wednesday around noon are the best for me. So.
Everybody good with Coach? And Lindsay?
First of all, you don't have a boat, right?
No.
If you had a boat, what would you name it and why?
What? I'd name it Sharon. Well, because I'd name all my kids Sharon. My wife's name is Sharon, and I'd name everything Sharon. I mean, my life's complicated enough, and I have to make enough decisions every day, and I have to remember enough things every day. If I had it to do over again, I got 4 kids. They'd all be named Sharon. And the other thing is every grandkid, male or female, would be named Sharon. And the boat would damn sure be named Sharon. And so it'd be, hey, Sharon, where's Sharon? Get Sharon. How's Sharon? You know, and so it'd be perfect.
What is it like to be Sharon?
Well, I mean, if I had my way, it'd be pretty multifaceted. But it would certainly solve sorting everything, you know.
You gonna even try for a middle name?
I think she feels like she's the luckiest woman in the world, and who wouldn't? What's that?
Try for a middle name?
No, there are no middle names. There's no last name. You're just Sharon. That's all you are, Sharon. Like you know, if my son gets married and there's a sister-in-law, Sharon. Okay, what's her last name? What do I care? You know.
Coach, you mentioned Festivus earlier. What's your favorite Seinfeld episode?
Well, my favorite one we probably best not talk about, but the one where George is stomping through the kids trying to get out of the fire, that's a good one. That's a good one. Let me think here. I haven't watched Seinfeld for a long time. Anything with George's dad in it's good. I'd have to think about that one. Yeah, I mean, if you remind me, but where Putty thinks Elaine's going to hell's a good one. Then just flat out tells her, you know. Yeah.
Is that your favorite all-time TV show?
No, I don't think so. There's so many of them. I'd say Gunsmoke is, for the long haul, like starting Child and Al, I mean, and I don't watch Gunsmoke a lot, but, it's still really, to be perfectly honest, as good now as it was when I was a kid.